All right, we're talking to James Beeks. You were at Jan.6 on the day, right?
Yes, I
And
was.
and they're giving you some grief over that. So we're gonna see what they're doing and see if you agree with it. What are they doing to you?
Well, a lot of my rights have been violated. I was arrested last November 2021, um, and fortunately, I mean, I was on a electronic GPS monitoring that was on me for 4 months, and I fought to get that off. Um, but I lost my reputation, lost my job, lost even family members over this, and off this false accusation. Um,
What job did you lose it? May I ask?
well, I was actually on the 50th anniversary tour of Jesus Christ Superstar. One of my dream roles that I've worked hard. I've been on Broadway five times actually. My first show was Smokey Joe's Cafe. I did a show called Ragtime. So a show called it was an off-Broadway show, which is very popular, underground, popular show called The Wild Party, Andrew Lippa's The Wild Party. Show called Aida.
So
And
you done a lot of theater, man.
yeah,
And you had a producer literally tell you, oh, because you have this Jan.6 thing, we're gonna fire you.
yeah. The producer, they actually, when I got arrested, we were in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I was supposed to have a meeting with the company manager. Apparently, the FBI called my company, which is a violation of my rights, and they entrapped me. I thought I was going into a meeting with my company manager, and lo and behold, there's the FBI there, um, you know, pursuing me.
Right. So how did your producer put this? It's like, were you, oh, because you were arrested, so you were on house arrest type of thing, or and so you couldn't make the show anyway. Is that correct?
Well, the at the time that I was supposed to go to rehearsals, and they arrested me, and the FBI, and they said that, oh, you'll be back in time for the show. But when I got out of that, I was in jail for like 7 hours, I think, and because it was in the morning, they arrested me, and then I was let go in the afternoon in time to go to a sound check, and the producer said, well, we're just going to put your understudy on, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do.
Right.
Um, and then it was a couple of weeks later, they sent me a letter of termination.
Wow. So you've
It
got
was all, yeah, and it was all based off of um, the accusations and some stuff that was said in the media about me. So yeah.
there's some defamation damage there that the FBI is responsible for, obviously.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, that's a later thing. I mean, what I want to go over right now is uh these questions that I was sent you ahead. We went over some of these questions.
Yeah.
So do you want to just kind of try to rip through that and get
Sure.
through that really quick?
Let's do it.
Yeah, so whose name is on your criminal complaint? Who is your specific accuser? What is that person's position and location? Who is that? Let's identify them. Let's call them out.
Well, the plaintiff is United States of America. There was no
There
man or
has to be a
woman.
signature, a man or woman on that complaint. There has to be somebody who authorized it and filed it.
Well, the um, Merriweather, Robin S. Merriweather, is
And
a magistrate
is
of
that a
the.
Robin is a man or woman?
Who knows these
Who
days?
knows? So does she have a title or a location or a,
Magistrate in Washington D.C.
okay,
The
so
United States District Court for District of Columbia.
so that is who brought the complaint against you?
Well, it was, yeah. Well, there was the FBI, the DOJ, Department of Justice. What's his name? The
Yeah, we're talking about your accuser. So in other words, somebody said, I saw him commit a crime. He committed a crime against me. That accuser,
that's where
the
we have
victim.
that's where we have an issue, because the plaintiff says United States of America, Delaware file number 2194196, and Duns and Bradstreet number 052711496. It's a fictitious corporation that has charged me with. There is no man or woman that have said that I have harmed them or destroyed their property.
So that fictitious corporation does not have authority to bring an action. because it's a fictitious corporation, can't be damaged, can't be victimized. There seems to be a big problem there. So good. We've got that. Anything more on your accuser that you could make clear before we move on?
I think we covered it. I mean, like if there is no man or woman that says
Yeah.
I have done harm to them, there is no crime.
There's no crime. So they're talking about some kind of an offense or something against some code or something, and
Yeah.
Later we'll get into whether or not they have any jurisdiction on that.
Right.
So number 2, what other specific names can be added to the list of persons who are responsible for false prosecution, fraud, malice, corruption, retaliation, abuses, defamation against you? In other words, that goes all the way back to Jan.6. Do you want to drop some names on, if someone committed false arrest, if someone has falsely imprisoned you,
Yeah.
whoever? Do you have
Yeah.
names?
On my arresting document, the FBI's name is Jimmy S. Park. That's the arresting officer that's on the charging documents. So I think he was in charge of finding me. Here's another thing. I was arrested in Dane County, and if a debt collector wants to, which was what they are, arrest me, they have to arrest me in the county that I am an inhabitant of. So there is a violation of my rights.
Mhm.
So they went after me when I was on tour. Actually, somebody called me and said that I think it was Jimmy S. Park who called me the day before of the arrest and said, we're the FBI and we want to know where you are. And I thought it was a prank call or something like that. But then, like what I told you before, it happened.
Yeah.
Nancy Pelosi, who refuses to release the 14,000 hours of footage from that day. Why?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people will be exonerated.
If not everyone,
Yeah.
pretty much. Yeah.
And also, let's see, Jeffrey Nassler, who's the prosecutor who is pursuing this.
Jeffrey's who again?
I'm sorry, Nestler. I said Nassler. Nestler.
Okay. So we got Jeffrey, Robin, and Jimmy, none of whom were there that day, I guess, right? None of them have any firsthand knowledge of your activities
Exactly.
that day. So we don't have an accuser yet that even knows anything about what you were doing.
Yeah.
That FBI guy, Jimmy, what's his name?
Yes, Park.
What do you happen to know if he was or was not present January 6th at that location?
No, I do not know, but who knows? They're saying there are a lot of informants inside. So
who knows who's creeping around behind the sunglasses?
Yeah.
Okay. So good. Anybody else's name that's been messing with you that shouldn't be?
Well, there's a big Stephen Colbert did a piece on me that it's very defamatory. That they made fun of me, and like it has 1.2 million views last time I checked. And it's just I've been through the mud with my name has been dragged through the mud, and that really it's just really hurtful.
Oh yeah. Well, it's damaging. I mean that's serious commercial damage. You have a commercial image. You make your living with your identity and your reputation. Somebody messing with you like that, you got it. I would assume you got a defamation case against Steve Colbert.
Yeah,
a big one. He knows what it's like to have somebody lie about him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's move on here. We'll go on.
Sure.
My next question: what are the exact limited authorities over you? What exact limited authorities over you does your accuser have under our Constitution? So, just a quick answer to that. If you see any valid authority anybody has, even to bring an action against you here.
Well, they have the presumption that I'm a U.S. citizen based off my birth certificate, passport, or driver's license, and anything that I signed that I was a U.S. citizen, unaware of what I was signing. I have since renounced my U.S. citizenship and I'm standing as an American state national, a Floridian on land and soil, and I'm not under their admiralty law. The judge said that because I'm a U.S. citizen, they have jurisdiction over me, and I have objected to that in every hearing and in my documentations on the court docket.
Right, and you have records of your citizenship status, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And so what is this judge's problem? I mean, obviously
there's some very popular people that want to see this, the ends justify the means.
They
want to see this to fruition.
They're just ginning it all up out of nothing, obviously. I mean, that's well on the record now. that this is a completely trumped up. Nobody trying to overthrow the government. When you try to overthrow the government, you carry arms and
You
do it
carry
with,
arms, you have more people.
yeah, it's such a fabricated
Yeah.
situation. So even if you were a United States citizen, I don't see any real authority here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is problematic all the way around. Okay, so moving on. Is that person bound by an oath of office? Have you accepted that oath affirmatively in writing? So, there's this step of accepting
Yeah.
in writing affirmatively someone's oath of office, and boom, you've already got them violating that. So
I have demanded that the judicial officers of the court show me their oath of office, but so far they have not responded. So I have no idea if they are who they say they are.
non-response is default on oath of office.
Yeah.
That means that's not a valid authority. That person has no authority until they produce their oath. So you've got them all on civil cases, civil actions at any point you want. All right. So is that person fully responsible and accountable for the liabilities of making allegations, incarcerating, violating your rights, damaging you financially, defaming you, making fraudulent statements, and acting as your legal adversary? So in other words, if I'm going to come after you and call you a bad person, I have to have authorities to do that. I have to have grounds. I have to have evidence. I have to have
The court of actors are liable for ruining my life this past year, and they don't care. Like I said, the ends justify the means, and they don't care if who they hurt in the process, if they're the demonization of people, whether they're innocent or not. But I will hold them accountable.
Yeah. So the answer to that is no, they're not accountable. They're not responsible for what they're doing to you. They're obviously okay. Apparently. Okay. Under what specific jurisdiction was the complaint issued? So that's the United States government or whatever they call
the district
corporate.
The corporate. So they are operating under Article 1 courts, and the Constitution strictly forbids Article 1 courts to deal in Article 3 matters, which is what we're supposed to be, living men and women, and not a dead corporate entity in which they presume we all are, until we wake up from this matrix.
Right. So obviously we got a jurisdictional problem there. Okay. So moving on, did you at any time in the past deliberately enter into that jurisdiction? And if you did allegedly enter that jurisdiction, when did you do that? Did you have full disclosure in that contract? And was that contract voluntary or coerced? So that question is actually, we've gone past that.
Yeah.
You actually exited that jurisdiction affirmatively, legally, and properly. But there's still a question of whether you ever entered it in the first place. In other words, in order to enter a jurisdiction, you have to do it voluntarily. You have to do it with informed consent.
Right.
So
I was unaware of any jurisdiction when I went into. Apparently, they had some invisible barriers for people, and once you crossed over that line, saying, "Okay, so."
I'm not talking about that jurisdiction.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about the jurisdiction that you originally became a United States citizen.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah, I see what you're talking about. So on June 7th, I was June 7th, 1972, I was born, and I was a free, sovereign
man on the land.
And then on June 22nd, 1972, someone placed a birth certificate on me and placed me into a status unaware of my, without my informed consent.
That's the point I'm getting to. So you were never properly entered into it. You have to do it with adult, reasoning with your own consent, fully informed. None of us are. I mean, that's an obvious question. But when you entered that, going back to your point about what might have happened on that day, January 6th, that's our property. We're the people. You're not entering a jurisdiction when you step foot on your own property.
It's supposed to be, yeah.
So all right. Moving on to my next question. Is there?
On that.
Go ahead.
I just want to say, I was forced into that jurisdiction because there were some suspicious actors that may have entrapped people by pushing people into the situation.
You said you were physically
pushed into,
battered into that.
Yeah, and it's like that Travis Scott case where when the crowd at that concert rushed in and people, you can't when you're going upstream, You can't go
You
back.
can't, there's no way. People get trampled to death in those all
Yeah.
the time. No, you can't, there's nothing you can do about it. And so you were forced with a sort of mob, you might say,
Yeah.
into an area where later they told you entered
Yeah.
improperly. Well, you were shoved in there.
Right.
Okay. So is there a verified complaint? So this is a sworn statement by the victim alleging criminal harm, damage you committed or with intent to do so. Do we have that?
No, there is no verified complaint. There is no man or woman that can say on the record that I did any harm to them or destroyed their property. So yeah,
So
there is
we don't have a criminal action here.
no.
Okay, and not a legal one. Okay, so you stated you were falsely accused. Have you served an affidavit of fact to that effect?
I have.
Okay, so with that affidavit of fact, did you state a fee schedule? This is my question, because when you talk about possible offense or violation someone's committing,
Mhm.
if you submit a fee schedule on that, then later that establishes the scale on which you can seek damages.
Yeah.
So actually that's not important to this interview. That's your private business. I'm just
I mean, the answer to that is yes, and the bill is racking up.
oh, good.
And to the
Exactly.
second part, no, I that's something I have to look into.
Yeah, okay. What is the exact citation or wording of the violations you're alleged to have committed? So if somebody's prosecuting you, they have to have a citation on that.
Yeah. So
What is
yeah,
that?
um, there's 6 counts. So the first one is conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding.
Okay.
2 is obstruction of an official proceeding and aiding and abetting. Um, on that, they were already just the quote unquote Congress were already dispersed. That's
They were
another
already
issue.
dispersed. And let's go over this point right now. You were actually assisting law enforcement.
Yeah,
You saw law enforcement under threat to their safety and you went to their aid, did you
yeah,
not?
I did.
Is that not your primary activity when you were in that location
Yeah,
of not protecting officers and property?
yeah.
You said you saw some people defacing the White House or
Hmm.
congressional building, and you were trying to prevent that as well. Is that correct?
Yes,
So you were on the side of what we would call government or law enforcement or
yes. I mean, my adopted, unofficially adopted father is ex-chief of police in Jacksonville and in Tennessee. And why would I want to, I'm on the side of law enforcement. So I have the utmost respect for law enforcement. So it would be counterproductive for me to, and just, it's just a ridiculous on its face that, that they would charge me with this,
right,
which is the other charge, the third charge, conspiracy to prevent an officer from discharging any duties.
right.
I have witnesses to the fact that we were protecting Officer Dunn from the rowdy crowd, and we got him back with his unit. And then after we got out, we were then again um, being buffers between the riot cops and the people who were being rowdy. So, and so all of a sudden, conveniently, these videos, these 14,000 hours of video, are unavailable. So
Which would
if
show exactly that.
yeah,
So you're not only being accused of something that's false, you're being accused of something that's the opposite of what you were actually doing.
exactly.
You were actually trying to help
Yeah.
the situation and
And
prevent.
number 3 is destruction of government property, which we already discussed that.
These are
Uh,
charges against you. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, and
Go ahead.
number 5 is entering and remaining in a restricted building or grounds.
Mhm.
And number 6 is civil disorder and aiding and abetting, which is all false.
It's all false. Yeah. It's all obviously fabricated
Mhm.
based on what you say and what you did and what you can show in video, whatever video does exist. I mean, there are a lot of videos. Do you have access to any video that shows where you were or what you were doing there, or do you know of any?
No, but I do have the video of people being pushed inside at the time that they were saying that that was where when I was in. There's a video out there where you see informants pushing and pulling people in. You see somebody looking at the door, looking at the camera to open the magnetic doors. These magnetic doors, you can't. No, first of all, they open out, right? They open out,
Yeah.
and if and how can people? And they're like these things are thick and they're made of solid bronze. So somebody had to open these magnetically sealed doors in order for people to
even into.
entrap people into this, trap people into the situation. And
Right.
I'll send you the video. You can maybe link it into this interview. But like,
Or send me the
there's
link. Yeah,
yeah,
I'll post
and
that. Yeah.
and this is the exact moment where where I was on the Columbus doors, where and there you can see people with earpieces on that were pushing and pulling people in. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
So you've got entrapment was the word that it was coming to me a little while back. It's like there were so many operatives there that would be identifiable on video that were entrapping people into some sort of some kind of a fiasco,
yeah.
in order to make all this look like they want it to look. I mean,
There's there's an independent. I'm sorry to cut you off. There's an
no.
independent journalist. His name is Bobby Powell. He
Mhm.
has video evidence of people actually breaking windows, and they have earpieces on.
Yeah.
They covered up, and he's been trying to get this video out, and he's been blocked at all. He sent it to everybody at Congress. He sent it to media outlets, and then he actually said in one of his videos that a congressman came to him and said, "Stop showing this video," which is very suspicious. And then there
Yes.
were these
Well,
suspicious
very
actors,
inappropriate for
right?
a congressman to
And
tell you what the videos to show.
yeah, and they offered him $100,000 or $200,000 to shut up, but he said he's not going to do it because he loves his country and he wants the truth out there and not this false narrative. And these suspicious actors, which is a very specific point, is that they are not on the FBI wanted list. They're not
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
sought
They haven't been
after.
picked up. They haven't been
Yeah,
prosecuted like you have.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's more evidence of them doing stuff
Right.
to the building and causing chaos
Right.
than I
Right.
am, and I'm caught up.
Provocateurs.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, that's come out in many ways, through videos, through testimony, that there were all these suspicious provocateurs that disappeared into the woodwork after
yeah,
this and haven't been arrested, haven't been identified, were at the time were carrying earphones and
yeah,
FBI gear, and now they're vanished. Yeah, this is such a suspicious operation. I mean, to say there's no conspiracy here would be an utterly ridiculous, absurd
yeah.
comment. So let me read on to the next question. Is there evidence of anyone having committed similar behavior and acts to you who was not equally prosecuted under the law, such as an undercover officer, infiltrator, informant, or government employee, or established insider? That's just what we're talking about
Well,
right there.
yeah.
There are all
There's
kinds of
that,
them.
and the most famous one right now people keep talking about, and I love it, is Ray Epps. He was on
Yeah.
camera inciting people to go into the Capitol, and he breached the grounds. But he remained. They're still running cover for him. There was an article out about him, about how his life was ruined
Right.
by the conspiracy theorists and that kind of stuff. And I love when they call people conspiracy theorists. That's
Yeah.
just
Yeah. Well, as if there's no such thing as a
right.
conspiracy.
And then so that's a big one. And actually, in his, I think it was in the January 6th testimony, they just released, and I saw it on Twitter, that one of his text messages to his nephew said, "Yeah, I orchestrated that."
Yeah.
He
Right.
admitted.
He's out saying that. So,
Um,
I
yeah.
mean,
So
how
go ahead.
many more ways, can the government be shown to be committing crimes, be committing misconduct, so you got any idea what Ray Epps connections are, whether he was an actual paid FBI guy or
I don't know. I don't know. They can get this. You know how they are with the words.
yeah.
They'll ask him specifically, "Is he a part of FBI?" He can say no, but he could be a part of the CIA. He could be a part of
Right.
another.
But he was there provoking problems,
Yeah,
and he was
exonerated.
not ever apprehended at all that I know of, was he?
No,
Yeah.
no. He
So
he
it's
did an
like,
interview with the J6 committee, and they were like, "Yeah, he said he's not." So, but it's still, the fact remains he incited violence. The fact
yeah,
remains.
yeah.
Uh,
I mean, there's video all over the place of him doing
yeah.
that, I believe.
And then
Okay.
there's John Sullivan. I got some other people I wanted to, have you remembered the name John Sullivan?
No.
He's a known Antifa member who
Mhm.
dressed up as a Trump supporter and violently went in.
Mm.
And we haven't heard anything about that case. He got
Right.
arrested. They gave him CNN gave him $90,000 for his video stuff. And he
Really?
had a CNN person with him on video. But they supposedly arrested him, but he got arrested before me, and his trial isn't all over the place. I don't think they're even if he's even going to go to trial.
Right.
So he's been seen to do a lot more damage if there was, than
Right.
I have. And this,
Right. I
so
did hear something about that now that you mention it. Yeah.
mhm. And
But
then there's like what was it, in April or May, Stephen Colbert's production crew was arrested on the day that they went into the Capitol and was causing chaos. Same kind of thing. But yeah, they've been let off for
right. There's
doing more. And
right.
I wasn't arrested till 10 months after the event, but
So there's a question of timeliness on that,
mhm,
whether there's even a statute of limitations on whatever they're charging you for or whatever. We talked about the issue of speedy trial, and it looks like they may be in trouble on that one because they're
mhm,
way behind on that for you. And you can simply, it's my understanding is you can simply file for dismissal on basis of violation of due process, no speedy
mhm.
trial.
Yeah,
So
it's been over a year now.
it's just everything they can screw up they're doing, and they act as if, oh yeah, we can do this. No, you can't. Not if you want to be compliant with the Constitution, not if you want to be compliant with the law. You can't, they can't, is
Mhm.
what I'm saying. So what else do you want to say? Just put on the record before we wrap this up.
Well, I just let the public pretender go, the public defender off my case, and I'm proceeding
Right,
sui juris, and meaning I'm handling my own affairs
right,
with lawful assistance of counsel. And the judge wants me to have a standby counsel that is a bar attorney. I've rejected that, but I'm here. The reason I reached out to you, and I'm glad you did, Jerry, is to to get the public, because I think there's a stigma with this whole situation on
right.
people. Um, not every there was a nuanced perspective in all situations, and I'm here to just to you know speak my truth and have with the law backing me, and just to get the court of public opinion to tide and change the tide on that
Right.
a little bit if I can. I do have a um, defense fund
Mm.
campaign,
Yeah.
and
We're going to have that on screen. I'm going to put that on screen for this,
thank
so
you.
that will already have been visible. And
Okay.
thanks for mentioning that, because you do need help. You do have legal issues. You do have a lot of damage to your career, to yourself financially,
Yeah,
and
I'll never be able to work in the entertainment industry again because of that. I was on my way with this show before COVID. We were slated to go to Broadway, and that would have been my chance to win a Grammy and Tony and all that stuff, and move on into the entertainment industry from there. So this was my dream, and as a foster kid, my very first memories are being in the foster care system from ages 1 to 5. And I got out of I lived in poverty, and I got out of that, and I found my voice through singing. And I've been living. I've never been arrested. I've never been in trouble with the law.
right,
As a
right,
melanated man,
right.
uh, I'm a statistic. I supposed to have been in jail by the time I was 18. I went a different route, and I've been a law-abiding citizen.
Yeah.
And now this is just
Now explain melanated man, because I don't know that you explained that to me and I had not heard that. So that
yeah.
I said, oh, you're African American or you're black. He said, no, I'm melanated. So that
Yeah.
means you got
I'm a man of the
melatonin.
sun. I'm a man of the sun.
Yeah, yeah,
Colors. When we think colors, and this is, I think, one of the main causes of racism is this. I'm not black. If you look at my skin, I'm not black. This is
yeah.
this
Somewhere
is
in between. Yeah, yeah.
it's
We're all
I have
shades.
melanin in my pigment.
Right, right,
And black and African American. I'm not a descendant of Africa. I'm not a descendant of a slave.
mm.
So they want us to think that we are less than what we are. I have melanin in my pigment, and it's just a different shade than
Other than
yours.
that, you're equal in every way, and
Yeah,
under the law. I mean,
yeah,
yeah, and should not be viewed any differently.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that also places us into the status that they want us to put us in.
Right, right,
Black, African American.
right,
You know,
right.
and
Yeah,
African American was a term that was created by Jesse Jackson back in the '60s. And we weren't called African Americans before that.
yeah, yeah.
My grandma always said, "I'm not from, I'm not from Africa. I'm from right here."
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, and I'm Irish, but I don't answer to what anybody in Ireland is
Yeah,
doing, or, I mean, it's,
yeah.
I
We're
mean,
Americans.
my ancestry is Irish, but, my
We're
dad was
Americans.
Canadian. What's the difference? I was born here and I'm here. Yeah,
Yeah, you're an American. I'm an American.
right.
We're all
That's right.
Americans. And I
Yeah.
think that's the thing about what's going on in our country. They want to compartmentalize us,
Right.
black, white, gay,
Right.
straight, LGBT, transgender. All these things are separating us when we need,
Gender, rich, poor.
yeah,
Yeah. On and on. They divide us. That's obviously a problem we have to deal with.
yeah,
And I appreciate that, that you and I can talk and get something accomplished today. So,
yeah, hopefully. And
okay,
I hope for
hopefully.
the people who are listening and can relate. And
Yeah.
if you were accused of something that you didn't do, and I'm like David and Goliath, I'm going up against a beast here,
Yeah.
and at least I'm standing in my truth. See, so I'm standing with the law on
Yeah.
my side.
Yeah.
And
You do have some damage that there's, somebody owes you something for what they've done to you, because like you say, this is tangible damage to your career. This is serious financial harm to you, serious
Mhm.
reputational harm to you. And that's why we have defamation laws. And
Yeah,
I can't help but think that as this thing plays out, at some point you have a major claim on this, just because you'll have to keep records, you'll have to itemize, you'll have to get your producer to sign a thing that said, yes, we fired him. You got to have that in writing, or evidence of that. But
mhm. Oh, I
when you
have the termination letter
yeah,
still.
there you go. So you put all that together, and that's what lawsuits are built on.
Yeah,
And I think, I hope that you have the support, from this video and from whatever else you do, from people to enable you to go after that and to
yeah.
try to get some justice back on that. So
I
thank you.
thank you so much for
Okay,
that.
thank you.
And we have a website coming out soon that's
Mhm.
going to have all my court docs. It's really important for people to take a look at what we're doing and
Mhm.
the approach that we're going, exposing the people who are acting as our leaders.
I'll
You
make
know,
sure that that website is on the screen.
yeah,
You want to
yeah.
say it right now? Tell us what it is.
It's jamescourtdocs.com.
Yep. Okay. So that's
jamescourtdocs.com. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I'll make sure we get that right on and put it on the screen and post it. And anybody who wants to follow that up, or anybody who's interested, a journalist, anybody who's interested in what's going on with this Jan.6 thing and what the repercussions of that are, there's a place to get some real clear, clean, hard, factual evidence and information and documents to help assist in journalistic research. I would
Yeah.
assume. Yeah. Okay.
If there's any honest journalists out there.
There are.
Yeah, I know.
They're not in mainstream by and
Yeah.
large, but there's some very good ones.
Mhm.
So hopefully they'll get on your case and start to expose this for you.
I hope
All
so.
right, James. Well, thank you. That looks like we covered it for now. So thanks for your time. Thanks for doing this, and hopefully we can help you again if something else comes up, and we
Thank you,
can
Jerry.
bring up an update later, maybe, or something on this for
Yeah,
people.
I'd love that.
Okay. Well, thanks again, and good luck with everything you're doing.
Thank you. I really appreciate the time.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.